Post your location and local time in the comments. Then buckle in. This one starts with a doorbell and ends with a siren that sounds like a premium kazoo. He cracks the door at dawn, eyes gritty, and there they are, two officers wearing that polite, "we really wish we were anywhere else" posture, while across the street Karen in a pink cardigan waves like a mall Santa off-shift phone lifted for maximum drama. The taller cop checks a clipboard that looks heavy enough to ticket a cloud and explains they've had yet another complaint leash law violations unregistered animal, a large dog barking all night. He lets a laugh slip, bad reflex like sneezing in church, and says what he said every time there is no dog. Joke 1, if there's a German Shepherd hiding in this house, it's excellent at paying rent and doing dishes. Joke 2, as for barking all night, the only growl he heard was the coffee maker. They're decent guys, boxed in by form, so he walks them through the obvious: no bowls, no beds, no squeaky steak toy, no paw print on anything, just a tidy living room, last night's chessboard, and Sarah's cinnamon coffee drifting from the kitchen like a hug. Still, they leave a notice, the paper equivalent of, "We know you're not guilty, but Karen owns a printer." The fines have already begun, 50, 100, then 500 plus a processing fee, which is HOA 4 because we said so. Joke 3, he uses the latest envelope as a coaster, and it leaves a watermark shaped like a $sign trying to escape. When he steps back on the porch, Karen is narrating into her phone like a nature documentary. Observe the homeowner in the wild, and the cruiser idles with its light bar blinking just enough to annoy the birds. Dispatch crackles that the complainant reports he's becoming hostile, which is news to his leaning, smirking, oxygen-consuming self. Historians still argue whether suburban power begins with the cul-de-sac or with the clipboard. Either way, the performance art continues. Quirky tidbit for the day: ancient Egyptians once pressed crocodile dung into sunscreen, proof that people have always been willing to smear nonsense on things to feel protected, and he briefly wonders if that's on the HOA's approved products list. The second visit comes faster, sirens, palms hovering near holsters, neighbors parting blinds like it's Shark Week. He's holding a phone, not a weapon, and the only scream belongs to Karen, yet perception, like a badly tuned karaoke machine, drowns out the melody of facts. He keeps his voice even, hands open, humor dry as toast. Joke 4, if intimidation were bottled, it would be called Cardigan Thunder, top notes of copier toner and fresh-cut bylaws. Joke 5, somewhere a gavel earns a frequent flyer mile every time she speed dials. Back inside, Sarah's hand lands on his shoulder, and the tremor in her fingers tells him what the paperwork won't. This isn't petty. This is siege. He breathes slow, catalogs the terrain like he used to, angles, routes, choke points, and retires the easy laugh. From now on, the grin is tactical. He will log everything, film only his own fence line, and treat every cream-colored envelope as confetti for a trial he plans to win. Joke 6, he names the new hard drive folder Phantom Dog Real Nuisance, because gallows humor counts as cardio. The choice is fixed: no more playing verbal ping-pong with a woman who thinks a clipboard outranks gravity. He protects Sarah, stacks evidence, and prepares to fight smart. He turns the house into a hard target, screws in discreet cameras under the eaves while the drill hums like a polite hornet, posts a tiny sign that says, "The property is recorded 24/7, translation. Smile, Karen, you're in 4K. Joke 1, he names the front door Cam Cerberus, which is ironic because the only dog here is digital. Joke 2, the driveway lens becomes Fetch because it fetches plates better than any golden retriever. Joke 3, he adds a doorbell chime that sounds like a Zen bowl, so even chaos arrives politely. Nikki rolls up in a van that screams definitely not a detective, lugging night vision units and a drone he calls the Wasp. It lifts off whisper-quiet mapping sightlines, while Sarah watches the monitor like a weather radar for nonsense. Historians still argue whether surveillance deters pettiness or simply teaches it better posture. Either way, posture changes fast when a red recording dot blinks. quirky tidbit in medieval Europe. They literally put pigs and roosters on trial robes, judges the whole circus. So suing a phantom dog fits a very old human habit of giving mischief a leash and a docket. Joke 4. He considers filing an amicus brief on behalf of imaginary pets everywhere. When the feeds are stable, he pivots to his battlefield, the ledger. Spreadsheets bloom on the basement screens like orderly snowfields, and he follows footprints. Green Pastures LLC board member Gerald billing 40% high for landscaping that looks suspiciously like mowing feelings. Crystal Clear Pools board echo Brenda billing during repairs that coincide with her cruise selfies, sun hat pina colada invoice. Joke 5. The only thing crystal clear is the margarita salt. Joke 6. He color codes suspicious entries, red for whoa, orange for and plaid for are you kidding me. He stacks receipts next to meeting minutes and cross-refs vendor forms with the state registry. Patterns appear like fingerprints on a foggy mirror. The gate upgrade, brother-in-law pricing double the next quote, half the shame. Historians still argue whether spreadsheets or siege engines ended more empires, but on a quiet street formulas, fire straighter than catapults. Callback compared to that crocodile dung sunscreen from Section 1, these covenants feel like SPF fraud, thick, smelly, and pretending to protect. Joke 7. He's tempted to mail everyone a travel-sized tube labeled Bylaw Block 300. Nikki's recon tags the two compliance officers as nephews on the family payroll. Minor charges Major Swagger, and the Wasp catches them rehearsing tough looks in a sedan that needs new shocks. Then the hinge clicks a shell company called the Gilded Leash LLC Cousin Dennis, a development sketch and a draft brochure so glossy you can hear it purr. K9 Country Club and Spa, bone-shaped pools, paw decures, aromatherapy for anxious poodles. Joke 8. He wonders if they offer couples massages for labradoodles and mixed feelings. Joke 9. A VIP kennel tier called Bark Avenue practically invoices his sanity. He overlays the site plan on the subdivision map and goes still. The big kennel box sits exactly where his garden grows tomatoes and calm. This isn't noise, it's motive. Phantom dog equals paper trail equals pressure to sell. 3 homes in a row, his right in the bullseye. He prints everything triple, backs it to a drive, titles the deck 6 years 1 scheme 0 dogs, and rehearses the cadence 10 minutes clean arcs, no adjectives doing crimes. Sarah loops in the 2 neighbors slated for a future agility course. Fear turns to resolve as lines and lots replace rumors and sighs. Joke 10. He buys a fresh thumb drive, labels it not treats, and clips it to his keys like a chew toy for truth. The plan sets like concrete: show the numbers, show the map, let the room decide, and keep cameras rolling in case decency needs a replay. He sleeps in shifts prints in triplicate, and for luck drops a Croc sunscreen callback. Remember nonsense. Smeared thick, still burns in the sun at the top of slide 1, then deletes it because the evidence doesn't need sunscreen. It needs daylight. The community room hums like a soda cooler on a summer porch, folding chairs, squeaking coffee, and copier ink sharing the air. And when the projector blinks awake behind Karen's head, the whole room seems to lean forward as if curiosity has elbows. Joke 1. The HDMI cable negotiates peace faster than most treaties. He keeps his cadence easy, neighborly, and lets the slide stay clean. Green Pastures, overbilling by cartoonish margins. Crystal, clear invoicing from a deck chair. The brother-in-law gate quoted like it's carved from moonrock. Each page a calm pebble dropped into a pond, each ripple reaching the back row. He promised no adjectives doing crimes, so the numbers talk. Then the overlay lands the subdivision map kissed with the dog spa blueprint, and his garden glows red beneath a proposed kennel block. The air shifts the way it does 5 seconds before rain. Joke 2 somewhere, a luxury poodle orders cucumber water and gets put on hold. Joke 3. The Wasp's best still frame flashes, nephews practicing scowls in a sedan that menaces only its muffler, and laughter loosens the room without losing the edge. Gerald rises, first voice wobbling like a shopping cart with one rogue wheel mumbles resignation and exits so fast the door forgets to squeak. Brenda follows, tears and purse in stereo, and for a beat it's just Karen on stage, lit by rectangles and receipts, her conceptual crown suddenly heavy. Historians still argue whether revolutions begin with pamphlets, projectors, or paper trails, but on this street the spark is a 10-minute deck and neighbors who've had enough of cardigan thunder. Joke 4, if side eyes were solar panels, the room could power that overpriced gate for a decade. Phones rise, a teen's live stream chat whirls, and questions start flying in tidy rows. Audit, election refund, like geese pointing home. He ends with a calm ask, independent audit, expunged fines, emergency elections, and a referral packet already addressed to economic crimes. He doesn't gloat, he breathes. Joke 5, in his head he thanks Cerberus and Fetch like union camera operators. Joke 6, he nearly adds a closing slide titled Crocodile Sunscreen. An allegory, then remembers daylight needs no SPF fraud. Hands go up like wheat and wind. A mutiny becomes a vote, and authority changes owners between one inhale and the next. The live stream pings county tagged. No caps, no applause lines, just a room discovering its own voice and using it. Morning brings detectives with patient eyes and neat evidence boxes, chain of custody tape whispering as it seals. By lunch, the old board dissolves. By dinner, Mrs. Gable, with legendary roses and a librarian's spine, accepts the gavel. Motions pass, fines wiped, audit, hired vendors, rebid minutes posted in a font that doesn't shout. The neighborhood exhales like a held note finally finding the chord. Joke 7. The new gate code changes from 00s into hope, not secure, admittedly poetic. Joke 8. Someone proposes a bring your imaginary pet parade and wins laughter instead of fines. Quirky tidbit, early magic lantern shows used smoke-darkened glass to throw moving pictures on tavern walls, proof that light loves a surface, and tonight truth loves a screen just as much. He and Sarah end the day on the porch with chamomile and silence that sounds like fresh snow. Even in summer, a news alert buzzing investigation opened restitution. Likely then face down ignored because the bigger headline is the eaves not buzzing with sirens. The map in his mind redraws to include ease. The street is the same, but fear has packed its things. Remember that crocodile dung sunscreen, how nonsense smeared thick still burns under the sun? Turns out it also cracks under a projector.